are some goals you've had this year?
I think some of my main goals is, since it's my first year teaching engineering, it's a lot of setting up the curriculum and really figuring out how to fit it for our students in particular, especially like making sure they're talking to each other, making sure people are supporting each other.
Yeah.
Really.
So your goal for this class in engineering was to make sure that you have the curriculum down.
Yeah.
And then also incorporating that curriculum so students are talking about it.
Yeah.
Having some discourse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we did an observation of a veteran teacher who teaches your course. What were some of the things you were hoping to see in the observation?
Yeah, I think some of the stuff, first, like classroom management, a big part is the online computer 3D modeling.
Right.
I know that's like always how can you have students work productively on computers?
Right.
And especially for software that, you can have some students who love doing 3D modeling and some that still struggle if they have problems with like 3D visualization.
Okay.
So I think that was a big one of management, and then how he would organize the curriculum. So it was, he could teach it, but then help students who were struggling.
Okay.
With there.
So you're hoping to look for management, and then also this online curriculum, which has a lot of software, how that is managed as well.
Yeah.
Okay. What were some things that you saw in the lesson that you would hope to incorporate into your lessons?
So I really liked he had, it seemed like he uses Google Forms as a big teaching method, where it's the instructions are on the Google form. There's a video of how to do it, so it kind of gives students, as he's presenting or lecturing it, they can read through it.
Okay.
And then if there's anybody who's behind, it's the video of how to do it is right there. So it seemed like a good way to kind of put that together. And then automatically then they can submit things on the form. So it seemed like a good, like, all-in-one sort of way to give it.
How did that help with the management of the lesson?
I think it helped a lot with, like, if kids were falling behind, or he had said some kids were absent, they could still access, like, the Friday lessons there. Or if they're confused on something, then let's go back to these instructions. I want you to read through them. And it looked like that was something that he had established throughout the entire year.
Right.
Because I think one thing I struggle with is, especially if I'm doing like a traditional lecture with that, then I would have to go through and explain it again to a couple of the kids. And so I think speeding up that process or giving that support would just make everything run a lot smoother.
Okay. So the Google form had some time frames built in.
Yeah.
And you could tell that routine had been put in and established throughout the course of the year. Those are some things I noticed too. So let's say that you are successful in getting this implemented with the Google form and the timer and the time frames. What do you hope your class would look like at the end of that?
I think kind of similar to him, like I noticed he was very calm. Just kind of a lot more calm and focused on their work.
Okay.
I think that's important. I know, you kind of sometimes I want to have it so that students can work and I can do more actively monitoring to help certain students.
Okay.
Like you said, the times on there I thought was a good focuser, because it was like, okay, you have 5 minutes to do this, get this done. And it seemed like, from what I was observing, it kind of wrapped in this, this is my pacing. We'll stop if you don't, but if you're messing around, like, I'm gonna keep moving forward.
Right.
And it seemed like a lot of the kids realized that it's like, okay, I'm gonna just keep falling behind if I don't do what I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
But if I do fall behind, I have all these supports and resources to get back on track.
Okay. So as far as you're doing this, what's important for you to pay attention to for yourself? Like, what's a self-check that you need to have as you're kind of rolling this out with the timer and the form and the management of the lesson?
Yeah, I think sometimes with the check, it will be first almost doing a quick assessment of like, okay, how many of you guys have it done?
Okay.
And then on like a qualitative level, I know there's like the stronger students, so kind of see like where a lot of your so-called like middle students are, and kind of make the pace from there and see like, okay, do I need to add another minute on there or not, and kind of see like, it's almost like judging the situation of like, do I need to add a little bit more time or change something, or is this a good lesson in teaching the students that they need to speed up?
So as you see the feedback that they're producing and how quickly they're moving through the lesson, or how well they're moving, as you say, qualitatively, you'll be able to adjust your lesson and yourself as needed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that might be kind of with implementing this at the start of the year, kind of giving more time for the students, and then slowly, if there's like every routine of like write down the problem statement,
right,
that's gonna just by the second semester just shorten it up so that it's okay, you've done this 20 times, like you know how to do this, take 5 minutes, just do it.
Okay. So it sounds like some of your success criteria will be just how efficiently you move through the lesson.
Yeah. And I think part of it too is kind of with anything, right? Going to a different tab. I do that during staff meetings, of course. It's just, keeping them focused so that they don't break concentration and then they have to rethink things.
Okay. So going forward, it seems like you have a good plan for next cycle, next year, starting off, kind of implementing these new routines. Did you have any other questions about the lesson or for me?
It seemed like he was pretty, I was thinking, or questions I would have for him. I'll probably ask him like language supports, because with 3D modeling, there's a lot of a new language for the kids.
Okay.
And so I don't know if it's just he starts talking about it or double checking the forms he has.
Right.
The names, or he did something before, I think would be good. Personally, I kind of like having them, and I don't know if it's helpful, a lot more like metacognition, where they have to write down the thinking.
Okay.
And then kind of last question I have is, since like his class is like they're only freshmen, he has like a track system. My class is going to be a little different, where I'll have everybody from freshmen to seniors. And so I'm wondering, and I'll be interested to see how would that look like, because I've noticed, my juniors and seniors with just like giving them written directions, they're a lot faster. Or
right.
They know how to like, okay, problem statement, or I know how to read the directions. Where, the freshmen just learning to read the directions, they're a little bit slower.
Right.
And so kind of bridging that gap, which I think would be something important, where it's almost like making sure the seniors and juniors don't get too ahead or bored, or the freshmen don't feel, rushed, and how to maybe the answer might be kind of focus on more collaboration than what he usually does, because he has all freshmen more or less at the same level, where like I have seniors in AP Lit, and then I have all the way to the freshmen taking EL development classes.
So it seems like one issue you see, it's a little different, is the fact that your classes are different grade levels.
Yeah.
And do you have a possible solution for that?
So one of the solutions I was thinking about, and this was kind of similar to like how the math department teaches, especially for group work. I think it would be, kind of thinking off the top of my head, like good ideas to almost have them do assignments in groups.
Okay.
Where there's like individual accountability, but they can all, they all have tasks.
Okay.
And I think that could be helpful a lot, because it's a lot of, especially for asking questions and needing help, of like, okay, let me ask, if I'm a freshman and I'm placed with like a senior who already, understands the language, how do I do this?
Right.
And then have it so that they have to do the assignment together. So the senior has to explain to the freshman, or the stronger students have to explain to the weaker students how to get that done.
Okay.
And so that maybe transitions me less from like straight up lecturing to more of facilitating
Okay.
there. And I think that would be kind of nice because the strength of having mixed classes is that, you know, a lot of our high school norms and how to behave, the seniors can help and juniors can help enforce
Right.
that. So
It
the
seems like
freshmen want to have that, or freshmen and sophomores have those feelings of wanting to be a part.
it seems like you adding that collaborative structure would help with a lot of some of the, not issues, but some of the lingering things that need to be taken care of when it comes to getting the lessons out in a very efficient way.
Yeah, and then he also has like you saw like the computer lab feel, where I have more like 4 people workspaces.
Right.
So I think kind of involving that collaboration aspect might be a lot easier
Okay.
because it's less of a like they're like 4 sides of a table all talking to each other.
Yeah, you're talking about a kind of a different structure than what you saw, but I think that would be something that could be beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, how do you think this having this conversation has helped you talk about process some of your thoughts for this lesson?
Yeah, it's really nice to kind of process and talk because it's, you know, even though he's teaching quote unquote the same class
Right.
as me, there's obviously a ton of different differences, the different school layout
Yeah.
and our population. So it's kind of nice to kind of talk out of like, okay, he does this, which is good. How can I take the good part
Right.
and actually successfully implement it in my class?
Without losing your own.
Yeah,
feel,
without
flavor.
losing the feel,
Right.
flavor, or, you know, not creating a different issue
Right.
there.
Perfect.
And so it's been super helpful. He's helped with a lot of stuff
Good.
there.
Well, I hope that you know, I get to see some of these changes in your class.
Thanks.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.